Hey guys, it's Cruise Tips with Christina, and today I'm going to go through 10 changes, maybe 11 changes, that I've observed in Holland America Cruise Line over the past year. Then at the end of this video, I'll cover 5 things that are the same. And with that, let's get started and jump right into it. Okay, so the first change that I've observed in Holland America Cruise Line is that the Orange Party is way better than when they first started doing it. So the Orange Party is on every single Holland America cruise. It is one night. They ask people to wear orange in celebration of Dutch heritage. And then in the evening, usually in the BB King's Blues Club, they have lots of music. They sell like orange headbands and they encourage people to dress up and just have a good time. The first year they had it was kind of like cheesy music and not the best. This last time it was really well done actually. They gave out Danish treats during the actual party, which was really cool. They had lots and lots of Danish food up in the Lido, which is where you can get dinner at night, also breakfast and lunch. But they had Danish food up in the Lido. They kicked off the Orange Party with like a cha-cha slide and then other music from the BB King's Blues Club band. It was just really well put on. Then at the end, they'll have like music for 45 minutes. And then they have a competition, like a little dance competition or a catwalk competition. Usually about 10 people participate, and it's really fun to watch. So I think it's just a really well done party. I had a really good time on the Rotterdam this cruise, attending the Orange Party. I would recommend if you want to meet lots of people, they have a bar crawl that night for around $25. I recommend you do that. It was just a lot of fun. Also, when I was on the New Amsterdam last year, the Orange Party was amazing as well. I think that's because their cruise entertainment director, Simon, was just like spectacular. He really got everybody involved. But big change, the Orange Party is a lot of fun. I highly recommend you go. And of course, pack something orange, like bright orange. Okay, the second change that I observed is that the cruise ship was like packed. So my mom and I cruised towards the end of January, and I think it was just packed because we're no longer in COVID, basically. So the Holland America ships are pretty much sold out. Implications for you as a cruise passenger is that it's a little bit crowded. I found that embarkation was a little bit longer lines than what I've seen in the past. The shows were very packed at night. So used to be that my mom and I could show up for a show at 7:30 p.m. for the evening show and always get a seat if we were 5 minutes early. Now I feel like you have to show up 10 minutes early if you want a seat. So it's just more packed on the ship. The first day there were just slightly longer lines up in the Lido for brunch. But I guess that's a good thing because I want the cruise lines to do well and have a full ship. Okay, the third change that I've observed is that the Lido buffet was so much better on Holland America cruises. So Holland America always has really good food in my opinion. Like their food is good. And I have other videos which I can share below where I show you the food, but their food is good. One thing though that was different this time was they had a new station with all different kinds of food each and every day of the cruise. So Holland America has always had like a, what they call like Asian, and literally I asked them what kind of food is this and they just said Asian. Sometimes it's Indian food, sometimes it's Japanese, it changes it. They always have that section up in the Lido. But this time they had a different section where they had different food. So one time they had like American themed food. So they had hot dogs and cupcakes that were red, white, and blue. One day they had churros. One day they had Indian food. One day they had Danish food. They had like very different food, which I'll show you pictures of once I figure out how to do it, so you can see the different food that they had. So it was just a new section that they introduced up in the Lido for lunch and dinner, I believe, mostly lunch. And it was really, really good. It was great. They still had their Caribbean night where they always have amazing fresh fruit like kiwi and guava and other fruit, which I personally love, but I was just very impressed with the new station up in the Lido. Okay, the fourth change that I observed on Holland America Cruise Line is they got rid of the Lincoln Center stage. So it used to be very, very well attended, and they had classical music each night, basically. I heard that the contract ended with Lincoln Center stage and they chose not to renew it, which is a bummer because literally, like I said, those seats were packed and people really enjoyed listening to Lincoln Center stage. They also got rid of, I don't know what the group was called, but they used to have like a guitar player and a cello player that would play music by one of the bars before the 5:30 dinner and after it as well, and they got rid of that. So my suggestion is, if you liked Lincoln Center stage, complain to Holland America Cruise Line. I don't know why they got rid of it, because not for me personally, but it was really, really popular and people loved it. Okay, the fifth change that I observed is they introduced technology talks. So they started this last year and they're just continuing it this year. They'll have talks with like password tips, or one was really good about like how to get free Wi-Fi in the different ports. I personally didn't listen to any of the tech talks on this cruise. It's just not for me, but that's something new on Holland America Cruise Line. They got rid of the kitchen shows last year as well, which is kind of a bummer because I used to really like watching the kitchen shows that they had with like a cook and usually the cruise director. Now they have tech talks instead, so not the best change. Okay, the sixth change on Holland America Cruise Line this year in 2024 is Dressy night is not quite as dressy. And by that, I mean not so much the clothes. Well, I do mean the clothes actually. So it went from like gala night to dressy night a few years ago. But I did observe that this time around, people were a little bit more casual. Like as a woman, it used to be you would want to wear a cocktail dress with heels, and guys, you would want to probably wear a nice collared shirt and a jacket. And I did still see people wearing that, but I also saw more people wearing just like a kind of a casual dress and sandals, and guys just wearing like a nice polo shirt. So dressy night is a little bit more casual. Holland America also got rid of filet and lobster. So they used to have on one of the 2 dressy nights for like a 7-week cruise, you had 2 dressy nights. One of those 2 nights, you used to be able to get like a steak fillet. They no longer have that. They did have maybe like ribeye instead, or pork loin. I get so confused. But I knew that they don't have filet on the menu, which was too bad, and they don't have lobster. Now, if you want those things, you have to pay extra. They do have sirloin. They just don't have a filet. Okay, the 7th change in Holland America Cruise Line is they've started introducing facial recognition technology for every time that you get off of the ship and back onto the ship. So you probably saw their facial recognition in the past when you were embarking on the cruise ship. You would go up to those machines, show your face, and that's how you originally checked in when they also scanned your passport to board the ship. Now they're trying to do facial recognition every time you get off the ship and on the ship at the various cruise ports. The problem with this, which was kind of annoying, was that they didn't have enough machines. So there were lines, when in the past they used to just scan your key card. It was really easy. Now they didn't have enough machines, so there were lines, not horrible lines, but there were lines. And you have to take off your hat and your sunglasses for it to work. So Holland America Cruise Line, this is my feedback for you. It was kind of annoying because most of the time when you're going to port, you have your sunglasses and your hat on. Also for me, like it just didn't work one time. They tried it multiple times and they're like, oh, your key card doesn't work anymore. You need to get a new card at the front desk or guest services. So that's something that they're introducing. Not a big fan of it, but I think once they figure out the kinks, it will be better because it does seem a little bit safer to actually scan you by your face. Okay, the 8th change that I observed was that the dining room service for like breakfast and lunch in the restaurant, in the main dining room, was just a little bit slower. So if you didn't know, on Holland America Cruise Line, you can eat in the dining room. You don't have to go up to the Lido buffet on deck 9 for breakfast and lunch. On some port days and basically every sea day, you can go there for breakfast or lunch and be served a meal. This time around, my mom and I went there for breakfast, and it was just kind of slow actually one day. It was surprisingly slow. Another table next to us was waiting a very long time for their food, and they also didn't have as many people coming around to like fill up your coffee and give you water and give you orange juice. They gave us our orange juice and coffee and water in the beginning, but they didn't come by to fill it up, and they used to give you treats, and they don't do that anymore. Not a big deal, but just something that I observed. I will say they did have a Caribbean buffet or Caribbean breakfast brunch one day, and my mom and I went to that, and that was kind of fun. We enjoyed having our Caribbean brunch in the Lido. Okay, the 9th change on Holland America cruise ships, which I'm a big fan of, is they have reintroduced turn down service. So last year with COVID, they got rid of turn down service at night. Turn down service is where they clean your room again in the evening. So they'll give you fresh towels, they'll turn down like your bed sheets, they'll turn on your night lights, and they'll close the curtains. So in 2023, if you wanted turn down service, you had to ask for it. Now in 2024, you just get it, which I am a big fan of. I personally like turn down service, and I really like my towel animals on Dressy night. Okay, 10. Next change for the better is that Holland America's chocolate surprise has gotten better. Yay! So a long time ago, they used to have a really, really grand chocolate surprise up on deck 9 that was so lavish with like a chocolate fountain. And then they got rid of it and changed it into the staff carrying like trays of chocolates through deck 2 in the evening around like 8:30, 9 p.m. And the first time they did it, it was like Rice Krispie treats and marshmallows, and they ran out of food really quickly, and it wasn't that amazing. Last year was a little bit better, and this year it was way, way better. They had way more treats, they had more chocolate, it was better chocolate, it was just a lot better. So I was actually happy with the chocolate surprise. Holland America, I'm glad you stepped up your game. Okay, and then the 11th change, so 10, 11 change is that their Wi-Fi is great. Maybe it was good last year, but I know it used to be absolutely horrible. So on one of the sea days, actually 2 sea days this time, I paid for their Wi-Fi. I did their surf Wi-Fi, which allows you to Google things basically and get email, and you can send text messages to people if you're an iPhone user and they have an iPhone as well. Otherwise, you have to use WhatsApp. Anyway, so I was on like Facebook, I was posting things, I was responding to comments. I was very impressed with the speed of the Wi-Fi. I would say it was the same speed as like me at home on my cell phone doing stuff. So I was very impressed with the Holland America Wi-Fi. I am not very patient, and it was fast enough for me. Like I said, the same speed as me using my Wi-Fi at home, which was great. So that is it. Those are the 11 main changes. Now I'm gonna go through the 5 things that are exactly the same in 2024. And by the way, if you found this helpful, please subscribe. And if you have any questions or comments or changes that you've observed, please leave a comment below. Okay, so here to wrap things up, I'm just gonna go through 5 things that are exactly the same in 2024 on Holland America Cruise Lines. Okay, first, I think it's very important to mention that their service and staff is amazing. Like, I think that's the one thing that really differentiates Holland America Cruise Line is that their staff is just like amazing, like better than Disney. They always greet you, they know your name, they're always very, very friendly, they seem happy, like the staff is genuinely happy to be working on the cruise ship. They're very, very friendly. They're just amazing. And if you ever do have a problem with something and you leave a feedback in the Navigator app, they will call you and fix the problem. So I'll say their staff is just amazing. That excellent service continues to be there. The second thing that's the same, which is not good, is the shows. Their dance shows are the same. They have been the same since 2018. I am so sick of seeing musicology and I'll have to remember the names of the shows from the what's it called? The One Step Dance Company. They're great shows, but when you've been seeing them since 2018, it gets really, really boring. So I am ready for Holland America to bring some new dance shows onto the ship. And I will say what's the same is that their evening entertainment, I love B.B. King's Blues Band. I love the Rolling Stone Rock Room. I like the dueling piano bar, but the shows, like the comedians that they bring on, the magicians that they bring on, are still not that great. This time around, they were actually the worst I've ever seen. They had the worst comedian I've ever seen and the worst magician I've ever seen. Okay, what else is the same? Number 3 is that the crowd is still older. So this is a great thing for most people. There aren't that many kids around. Most people are 50 and up on Holland America Cruise Line. Whenever my mom and I eat at dinner in the main dining room, I have yet to meet a couple who is working. Everybody that I have ever dined with on Holland America Cruise Line is retired. So it is an older crowd. The fourth thing that is the same on Holland America Cruise Line is that it's pretty well organized, like shows, the itinerary, everything. If it says something starts at 10, it starts at 10. And if they say it's 45 minutes, it ends at 10:45 a.m. So I would just say overall, it's very, very well organized. But what else is the same is that their website sucks. So their website just always has problems and I find it very difficult to navigate. So that is the same. And then lastly, what else is the same is the food. Their food is good. Like Holland America has always had good food, especially for the price of their ships. I think their food is good. Sometimes it might be a little bit salty, but overall, I'm impressed with like their breakfast up in the Lido. The lunch is always good. I enjoy eating in the main dining room at night. They just have solid, good food. So that's it. If you're cruising with Holland America Cruise Line, again, if you have questions, leave a comment below. I'd love to help you out and have a great day.